How about the Hawks evening their series with the Sixers in a game that felt like it was over at halftime, where the way the Sixers were dominating the game, up by as many as 18 points, and then a third quarter happened where Atlanta just went crazy. The Sixers couldn't make a shot, and Joel Embiid suddenly went from dominant to the final play of the game was him not being able to even jump. That's how bad the knee is for him in these games. And he was 0 for 12, right, in the second half? 0 for 12, including a missed layup, a bunny, late in the game that would have given them a chance to tie. Just, again, a turn of events that just was shocking to watch. And so now as we look at that series and we continue to talk about a playoffs where injuries are becoming a bigger part of the story, Joel Embiid goes from a dominant player to a player now that is clearly, we already knew playing with injury, but how much it's affecting his performance is the thing to watch. Dave McMenamin, our ESPN NBA reporter, talked about it on SportsCenter at night.
As for the play where he went 0 for 12 after being 0 for 11 with 8 seconds left, getting a great look at the rim off a pick and roll, he said, normally I would have dunked that, but I have no lift right now. I'm trying to do my best out there. He said he felt like he was probably fouled on the play, but he said he's got to be better moving forward to Game 5. Now, he was dominant through the first 3 games, 35 points a night, 10 rebounds a night. Tonight, he was not that same type of player, but Tobias Harris said, let's not forget what he was doing for us defensively. We still needed him out there tonight.
He had 21 rebounds, I should say, which is a career high for him in the playoffs. Torn cartilage in that right knee, and to correct myself, that layup would have been to put them up.
17 points, 21 rebounds, and had a horrific game.
Yeah, had a bad game. 0 for 12 second half.
That's how specially talented he is.
Yeah, but still, especially talented. But as he has looked like he is, he's made Clint Capella look little. And Clint Capella's not small.
Well, he's thin.
Yeah, but still,
Embiid, it got a little something to him.
They can't guard him, but when he can't move, this series suddenly changes.
Yeah, because he's the force. But I don't understand how he can get 21 boards, though, but can't move. You got to be able to jump and get in the way somehow, right? It's
positioning.
I guess when you talk about the explosive nature of being able to jump and bunny hop and dunk the ball and do those sort of things, he doesn't have that lift. But like Jay said, when you got 17-21, you still balling, even though you were 0 for 12 at once upon a time in the game. I think when you talk about a second guy on their team that needs to be the scorer, they've got to find that consistent guy. And they can't depend on Embiid. Somebody else has got to step up and be that guy.
Now, Trae Young was a guy, this whole story flipped. Trae Young started the game off with a bad shoulder. He had ice pack on it, everything else 0 point. Did not score in the first quarter, but ended up with a career high 18 assists in the game.
Oh, it was diming people left and right.
It's just unbelievable that the lobs, John Collins turned into a dunk show. This felt like, Dominique Wilkins back against the Celtics in '87. It's just a tremendous performance by them. Jay, does the series suddenly turn to the favor of the Hawks if Embiid is compromised, or are the Sixers still the favorite here?
I think the Sixers would still slightly be the favorite. Joel Embiid is still going to play. The problem that you have with last night is the lethargic personality of the 76ers in the second half. Just took their foot off the gas. Ben Simmons almost had a triple-double at halftime and then barely got it. I think he had 3 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist in the second half. Right? So the fact that defensively, and look, yesterday is when the all-defensive teams came out. So Ben Simmons, first team, Matisse Thybulle, Joel Embiid, second team. And then you see Trae Young just go off, all in pick and roll, attacking Joel Embiid. Primary defenders were Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle. And that's what you worry about. That's why Doc lit them up in the postgame.
He did.
Because now you're watching Milwaukee and Brooklyn play tonight. That's going to be a dogfight of a series that could go 7. And if you're Philadelphia, even if you're Joel Embiid, I appreciate him owning it when it's all said and done at the postgame. But if you're sitting there, if you're Philly, you're like, man, this is 3. We should be up 3-1. And they shouldn't ice out Seth Curry in the game. Stop going hero ball. Play inside out. Seth Curry is your floor spacer. Keep feeding him if he's going. I don't want to see Korkmaz taking tough shots. That's what you get frustrated about if you're a Philly fan.
And if you look at the history of Doc's teams in the playoffs, they tend to fade in the second half for whatever reason when they have big leads. Even when he was with the Clippers, that was just something that, that happened to his teams. It just all of a sudden, they got these huge leads. By the time you look up, they lose the game.
Here's Doc Rivers after the game kind of lighting into his team about exactly what Jay and Key are talking about.
We stopped passing. I thought that we started the game off that way. Then we got back in the ball movement. Then we went back to hero basketball. Basically everybody wanted to be the hero instead of just trusting the team, trusting each other. So when you do that, you usually lose, especially when the other team outworks you the whole game. And that's what they did today. We missed so many opportunities. It was live. I can't wait to watch the film. But my eyes told me that we blew a golden opportunity tonight.
My eyes told me, like you don't need to watch film when you watch the way that second half, that third quarter momentum turned so quickly. And, Trae Young went from a guy that looked like he was being taken out of the series. You mentioned the all-defense stuff, right? Ben Simmons looked engaged defensively in that first half.
Oh, yeah. They looked
Second
mean.
half, what was the most notable play you can remember in the second half by Ben Simmons? I'm curious what you'd say. You know what mine was? The hard foul on John Collins to stop him from going through another dunk show. Like, enough's enough with you. Had the hard foul. Like hard foul was the last thing that stood out to me about Ben Simmons in that game. That, and also him sort of disengaging in a switch where the Hawks scored. It might have been one of their last baskets, was off of just another pick and roll, and instead of switching, he just stood there, almost as if I'm not leaving this guy.
Look, man, I give the Hawks a lot of credit last night being down 18. They battled back. They clawed and they scraped to get back in that game. And I'll just say that Joel just wasn't the same, And I'm curious to see how that knee injury goes into, Game 5, Game 6, because he wasn't the same athlete. And there was a lot of settling for shots. And you just wonder, he didn't want that physicality down low. Maybe he didn't trust the knee to the same degree, but that's definitely going to be something to follow going forward.
He had to know. Tobias Harris also was dominating his matchup early on, and then all of a sudden it's a
It wasn't scoring. It was like defensive tenacity.
Yeah.